Klondike is brought to you by Salem Cigarettes. Menthol fresh, rich tobacco taste. Modern filter too. Salem refreshes your taste.
You don't know what you're doing. This is the house of the Lord. You can't do this, gentlemen. Please, please, please. Oh! Oh! Tell them to be careful of the pulpit.
Oh, never mind the pulpit. Are you hurt?
No, I'm just shaken up.
What's going on, Reverend?
Those saloon keepers want our tent. They say they're the legal owners.
Generation of vipers.
Oh, just a minute, Mrs. Hollis. You'd better let me talk to him. A little high-handed, aren't you, mister? You got papers to prove you're the legal owner of this tent? Oh, I guess you got papers, all right. Well, I just thought I'd ask.
The sounds and sights of springtime are glorious, but it's the soft, cool air that so refreshes and relaxes. And so it is with a Salem cigarette. For Salem, air softens every puff. Special high-porosity paper breathes in fresh air to make Salem taste so springtime soft and fresh, and so extra flavorful. Yes, Salem air softens every rich-tasting puff. You smoke refreshed, while you enjoy the full, rich taste of fine tobaccos. It's the most refreshing cigarette of all. No wonder Salem is America's fastest-growing cigarette by far. Menthol fresh, rich tobacco taste. Modern filter too, that's Salem. More delightfully than ever, Salem refreshes your taste.
The blacksmith shop isn't much of a church, but it's the best I can do.
Oh, we're just surprised that anyone would bother at all.
Well, you can thank Kathy O'Hara, Reverend. She wanted me to throw those saloon keepers out of your tent.
It's not our tent, I'm afraid. They removed us legally.
The devil always has eviction papers.
Oh, there, my dear. At least we're off the street here. Mr. Halliday, I think you know how grateful my wife and I feel.
Oh, that's nothing, Reverend. Is there anything else I can do?
The Lord will provide.
Well, I hope so.
Help in the Lord. Give to the Lord. Help in the Lord. Who'll give to the Lord? Would you help in the Lord? Will you give to the Lord?
The lady said who'll help the Lord's work. Thank you, brother.
You seem to be our guardian angel.
What's this? Michael Halliday busy about salvation.
Well, I'm new at the work, but I might get the hang of it.
It edifies my soul to see that you renounce your old friend, Satan.
Well, Satan has always got you.
My name's Jefferson Lorraine, Mrs. Harless. I was shocked to hear that you and the Reverend were evicted.
Mr. Halliday's already found us another place.
So I hear.
Bless you, sir.
Always glad to add my mite. Buy you a drink?
All right, Doreen. Good luck, Mrs. Hollis.
Mrs. Hollis.
Quite a crowd.
We never close.
It's none of my business, Doreen, but how much money you taking right there?
Oh, around 5,000. Michael, I've asked you this before, but I'll ask you again. With all of these suckers around here just waiting to be fleeced, why do you keep resisting? Why don't you throw in with me?
I like suckers.
All right, Michael. But as for me, I'm not going to stand around and watch 2/3 of the loose cash in Skagway slip through my tambourine.
Well, you'll have to expand.
Tambourine? Yes. I will indeed. And there's room for all kinds of new enterprises in Skagway, all kinds. Have another drink, my erring friend.
What about yourself?
Business first, Michael, my boy. I've just felt the need to expand.
Thank you.
Bringing in the sheep, we shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheep. Sowing in the morning, sowing seeds of kindness, sowing in the noontide and the dewy eve, waiting for the harvest and the time of reaping. We shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheep, bringing in the sheep, bringing in the sheep. We shall come rejoicing, bringing in the sheep. Welcome to the New Gospel Mission.
Reverend Harless, thank you. I bring you the sympathy of the God-fearing community. You've been treated shamelessly.
Thank you. I'm afraid my wife and I are going to have to give up our work here in Skagway.
That's what I came to talk to you about, to persuade you to stay.
Oh, I'm afraid it's only a matter of time before we're evicted again as squatters.
What would you say to a church of your own? A permanent wooden edifice.
Please, sir, don't taunt a driven man. Do you know that in the week that my wife and I have been here in Skagway, we've collected a total of $23.42?
You've been working the wrong flock. I intend to lead a community drive in order to raise funds for a new church.
Do you mean that, brother?
Well, Skagway must have a spiritual anchor against the tide of lawlessness and vice that's turning it into a Sodom.
You do mean it.
You stop by the Golden Nugget Saloon this evening, and I'll show you how to get this fundraising started with a bang. I have an important announcement to make. Skagway is going to build a new church.
Hey, how about... There!
The biggest and finest church in Alaska. And we're going to build it with our cash contributions. And now, to start the ball rolling, I am giving the sum of $1,000. Our pastor, Reverend Harless, and Mrs. Harless will pass among you now to take up a collection. And to stimulate your desire to contribute, everybody who gives an offering will receive free drinks on the house the rest of the night. Homer, can't you play something a little more appropriate for the occasion? Mr. Michael Halliday. I'm sure you'd be willing to donate to the church fund. That seems to be favoring you.
Well, I'm in favor of worthy causes, Drain, but I think I'll drop my contribution to Reverend's party.
Well, so we gather in the sheaves.
What do you do, brew this in a paint bucket?
Look, I gave you your first job in Skagway, and I've tried to be a friend and counselor to you. Why throw it all away by knocking my coffee?
Coffee?
Hot and strong. That's what everybody needs after what went on last night at the Golden Nugget.
Well, I left a little early to turn into a brawl.
From what I hear, it was more like a revival meeting. Everybody got worked up about the new church. And Doreen most of all.
Well, he certainly got religious in a hurry. A couple hours ago, he was trying to talk me into a confidence game with him.
Maybe this Reverend What's-His-Name has converted Doreen.
Maybe.
Excuse me.
Mr. Owens would like to talk to you, mister.
Surely you recognize the community's need for a church.
I already gave twice to your gang, Doreen.
Do you have a record of this man's contribution?
Why, he never give me a dime.
Oh, Mr. Owens. Unless the solid, respectable element rallies behind the church, how can Skagway be saved? Perhaps the collection committee can persuade you.
You're not against religion, are you, Mr. Owens? All right. I'll go in and get the money.
Mr. Owens, may generosity be its own reward.
Amen.
Well, you hit the other merchants again. After I get the Owens donation, I'll take this bucket to the pastor myself.
This is better than a rig for you. Deacon.
$7,000 just since noon.
The gamblers have formed a fundraising committee.
Even the painted women have caught the spirit.
More tidings of great joy.
Some tidings, Drain.
People are besieging me with gifts.
I've never seen a town so awakened to glory.
All they needed was a little urging. How are we doing?
Well, we have over 30,000 all told.
Wonderful.
Oh, you must get some rest, brother.
Did the martyrs rest?
Brother Doreen, you're an inspired man. No. You're a saint.
Springtime calls to everyone to remember the days spilling over with gentle light, the soft and limpid air, the feeling of life renewed. So a Salem cigarette calls, too, to everyone who loves the refreshing air of springtime, for a Salem, too, refreshes all the way. Today, there's even more springtime freshness when you smoke a Salem, an important cigarette paper discovery. Salem Special High Porosity Paper air softens every puff. Invisible porous openings in the paper breathe in just the right amount of fresh air to give you an even softer, fresher smoke, a richer smoke, too. You smoke refreshed as never before because every puff of a Salem is air softened. Menthol fresh, rich tobacco taste. Modern filter, too. That's Salem. Try Salem. More delightfully than ever, Salem refreshes your taste.
You're a liar. Well, what do you mean you gave more to the church than I did? I blew my whole poke. Your poke was full of sand. Sand? Well, that dust was cleaner than the back of your neck.
You boys are trying to start a little excitement, huh?
Well, what's the matter with you?
I just saw grown men fighting over who'd give the most to a church collection.
Anything can happen in a cockeyed town like this. Next week, it'll be some new excitement.
Well, I don't like to spread gloom, but there's something about this situation that doesn't smell right, particularly with Brother Durain passing the plate.
But he's reformed, remember?
Just the same, I think Reverend Hollis ought to keep the money in your safe.
But why don't you ask him?
Oh, well, if it's all right with you.
Well, you better get over to the blacksmith shop. They're counting the final tally right now.
You mean the collection's over?
Ended at sundown. Tomorrow, Reverend Harless is holding a Thanksgiving service. Everybody's going to be there.
Well, Providence moves in mysterious ways.
Can you think of a better collection agency than a preacher?
No, sir. I gotta hand it to you.
The good Reverend must have picked up half the loose change in Skagway just for us.
Well, I've been thinking. Ain't he gonna raise an awful holler around town?
Oh, I have a plan for the Reverend. He may be leaving town before morning. I'll have a talk with him right after the robbery. I believe I can convince him that he'd be a lot safer out of Skagway. Then our generous citizens of this fair community will think that their Reverend absconded with all that money. Our pastor and the money will be dropping by your favorite alley in about 10 minutes. Be ready.
Right. What do you have for the church collection? I asked you a question. I didn't hear it.
$52,000. I just can't get over it. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to thank you good people.
Well, it's been a tiring day. Now, why don't we all go home now and get some rest, be ready for services in the morning? Well, if the rest of you would be kind enough to see Mrs. Harless home to her rooming house, the Reverend and I will step over to my office and deposit the money in the safe.
All right.
Very kind of you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you know, that nice young Halliday boy was here just before you arrived. He wanted me to put the money in Miss O'Hara's safe.
Wasn't that nice of him? You're sure that this isn't too heavy for you?
Oh, no, not this load. I could carry this to kingdom come.
Yes. Oh, it's a few steps short if we go through the alley.
Oh, fine. Through here?
Yes. What's the meaning of this?
Let's handle the money.
Well, that money belongs to the church.
Now, see here. What?
Now, we gotta go.
Let's go. This man's dangerous.
If I tell the town what happened, Duran is liable to get lynched.
Well,
Well, he deserves it, of course, but...
then what's keeping you?
Well, the fact is, I hate to see a miner could think up a scheme like that snuffed out.
Well, what about him?
Well, he'll have to swim to Seattle with Duran after him.
Well, that settles that. Now, what about Duran?
If they hang him, the Reverend will get $52,000. If they don't, he may stand to make more.
How?
I think I know how to hit Duran almost as bad as though he had a noose around his neck. I'll hit him in the pocket where it'll hurt him pretty good. You got a place to lock up Teal, he's got to go to church in the morning.
Well, there's a root cellar.
Fine. You might lock this satchel in your safe for a few hours. I want to take it to the mission just before the service.
Well, where will you be till then?
I'll be sitting up with a dear friend.
Oh, Michael.
Expecting somebody, right?
No, just killing time.
Seems to me I owe you a drink.
Oh, thanks.
If there's anything I don't like, it's killing time. I remember once in Chicago, I waited all night for a party. He never did show up either. You know what happened?
No.
Double-crossed me. He had a deal we hadn't skipped town. Well, I guess, it must be getting pretty late then.
It's 1:30.
Well, I guess I'll be turning in. See you at the mission for the big Thanksgiving service tomorrow, I suppose. Everybody's going to be there, everybody.
Everybody?
Everybody.
Thank you, Sister Harmony. You fine people of Skagway. As we said in our opening prayer, this is an hour of thanksgiving. In your bounteous generosity, you have given $52,000 for the building of a permanent church. There's something I must tell you, though. Last night, I was afraid that the devil himself was wild and loose in the streets. Some evil spirit tried to seize, yes, to steal our church funds. But through an act of providence, the money was returned. And not wishing to spoil this happy occasion, I'll not ask who returned it. There's something else that I want to say to you, though. If it weren't for the unselfish leadership of Brother Jefferson Duran, whose magnificent inspiration, untiring efforts, and large initial donation made everything possible, we would have no new church.
Reverend? Friends? Reverend, friends? I have an announcement to make that'll make all of Brother Duran's past contributions to the spiritual welfare of Skagway seem like nothing. Brother Duran is too modest to make this announcement himself, so he asked me to make it for him. He has volunteered to turn over his saloon to our pastor as a church every Sunday until a new church is built. friends, in case you don't comprehend the magnitude of Brother Durain's sacrifice, let me remind you that the Golden Nugget takes in $5,000 a day. Now, since it's going to take at least 2 months to build a new church, this means Brother Durain is going to lose $40,000. You don't look so good.
Get out of here.
Don't take it so hard. All you donated to the church fund originally was $1,000. If the stick-up had worked and I hadn't turned you sloon over the Reverend, you might have realized a $52,000 return on your investment.
Stick up? What are you talking about? You know that I wouldn't resort to
Not
such a
52 for one. That's pretty good, isn't it? Well, take care of that head now. Don't want anything to happen to that mind of yours. By the way, here's your watch.
Boy, you...
Klondike was brought to you by Salem Cigarettes, menthol fresh, rich tobacco taste, modern filter too. More delightfully than ever, Salem refreshes your taste.